What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Tell Me More podcast presented by Major League Success. I have Brittany Conner with me from Coldwell Banker Realty. Brittany, thank you so much for taking time out of your day today and jumping on the podcast with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you guys and to dive into some real estate talk. I'm always down for some real estate talk, to be honest with you.
That's probably pretty common with most of us, right?
100%. I feel like I tell my friends all the time, like real estate's kind of my boyfriend. So when I talk about it, I get a little excited and like you see me start to smile and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, people might not always share this interest that I have in real estate.
It's funny that you say that, but that's so true. Like, us as real estate agents, it's what we think about. We breathe it, we live it every single day, 24/7. It kind of is like, you're dating it.
100%. It is my relationship. I am in a relationship with real estate right now.
Well, Brittany, I'm excited to have you on. I know we don't really know each other real well. We've just been kind of, friends on social media for a little while. And, like I said, I thank you so much for taking time out of your day to kind of share your journey and just to chat, real estate. So, Brittany, I always like to start growing up talking about the early years. What was life like? What were you into as far as a kid, and kind of lead me up to end of high school.
So as a kid, I was a busybody, which is probably a big reason why I'm okay with real estate, because you have to be such a busybody. But I played 3 sports competitively my entire life. I really didn't do too much until I got out of high school, as far as, being a teenager, because I was so focused on sports in school. But I think that I was also that kid that wanted to go play outside and was asking mom for 5 more minutes outside. You know what I mean? Like, I just never wanted to be sitting still. I never wanted to be at home. I always wanted to be on the go and active and doing something. I think that being that young person and being in all of the competitive sports I am, it kind of helped create a bridge of competitiveness within myself, so that when I got into the industry, I was able to kind of convert my competitiveness from being competitive against other people and teams, and now I'm competitive like against myself. And I'm always trying to see like how much farther I can take it.
Yeah. What sports did you play growing up?
So I played volleyball, basketball, and softball.
Okay.
Volleyball was my absolute favorite sport, but the other 2 were pretty cool too.
Do you still play any volleyball?
I'll play sand here and there, but not at all like I used to. No.
Noted for future. We might have to get a team together at
I would love that. I've been looking for like people that wanted to do that, but I can never get a large enough group that will actually be consistent and show up.
Well, hey, let me know. I take about 1 session off. There's an agent on our team, Jared, who I play with, and we've probably played together for, I don't even know, 4 or 5 years at a minimum over at Flanagan's in Dublin. So
I love playing, so let me know.
I'm down for sure. So grew up playing sports. That's kind of what your focus was. Did after high school, did you go into college? Did you go into the workforce?
So after college, or after high school, I should say, I had actually went to go play volleyball at Ohio Christian, but I had went through something really traumatic in my life at that time, and I had questioned my faith a lot, and I kind of got knocked off my path a little bit faith-wise because of all of the things that were happening in my life. So I decided that it was best for me to not attend a Christian school, because I was struggling in my faith. And with that school, you had to go to some type of a mass like almost every other day. I just didn't feel like I had it in me to commit to something like that. So I decided to go to Columbus State, and I started doing business. I was working for a third-party banking company at the time, and I was working like 10-hour days behind a desk all day, on the phone all day while in school. And I absolutely hated it. And it really helped me come to the decision that that's not the lifestyle I ever wanted for myself. And I couldn't continue to do it because I was just miserable. I was so unhappy. I'd walk in every day and it was like the happiness was immediately sucked from me as soon as I sat down at the desk. So I decided to drop out of school against my parents' wishes. And I needed to take some time for me to figure out what it was I really wanted to do, because truthfully, I think that not just with myself, but a lot of young people they leave high school feeling like they are obligated to know what they're going to do and genuinely having no idea. So then they go and like accrued all of this debt in hopes that they figure it out. And now they're just in debt and still just as, unaware of what they want to do with their life. Yeah. So I decided to take some time for me. And I started working as a bartender at the Hilton. I'd been there for about 2 years. One night I had this lady come in and she had started to walk to her room and she turned around, came back and sat at my bar. She got a bottle of wine. We're sitting, we're talking, just getting to know each other. And out of nowhere, she was like, God told me to come talk to you. And I don't want to freak you out, but have you ever thought about going into real estate? And it was so weird because 2-3 weeks before that, I had mentioned to my parents that I was considering it just because I was at a point in my life again where every day was the same and I was miserable and I needed something new. And they're like, yeah, you could be okay at it, like whatever. And everybody kind of shrugged it off. So when this lady came and she like literally sat in front of me and told me like, I think you should do this. I was like, you know what? I think I should too. I'm going to do this.
So how long was that period of time and going back to, the whole college thing, I think a lot of us, around that age time frame, our parents, it was just, it was college or workforce, right? And a lot of it was, I would say, like, I was never forced to go to college. It was almost like strongly implied, my brother went into the Marines and, one went into the workforce and my sister and I, we went into college and, but you're right. How many people went in? Myself, I went for 4 years and didn't use my degree for anything. As soon as I got out, I got into real estate. So, how did you know, that wasn't for you, and taking that because it's a tough decision, right? To kind of go against what society was saying at the time.
I think as much as we love our parents, watching them from a really young age, and they both live very conventionally. I knew from a young age that I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't know when I was 5 that my bossiness actually meant that, you know what I mean? But I just always had something in me that I was supposed to be a leader. I wasn't supposed to work for somebody else. I was supposed to do something where I was working for me, whatever that may be. And I think that time and life and experience just kind of helped unravel what that was supposed to be for me. But I always knew from a very young age, I was not supposed to live a conventional lifestyle.
Yeah. So you drop out of college, doing the well, first, I think the real aha was your job in college, right? And knowing what you didn't like, and trying to find what you did like was, I think that's key for a lot of people.
I think too is like, I need to be challenged. If I'm not challenged and I don't do something different on a day-to-day, I get bored. And boredom just, it's not good for me. I need to do something where I have to figure it out. I feel like I'm a problem solver by nature. So to not be faced with any problems, you kind of start to feel like you're not living in your purpose. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's another thing too, is I feel like now with real estate, I'm kind of living in my purpose of not only helping people, but being able to problem solve at a higher level.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Is the lady that sat at your bar still in the business?
She is. So it's crazy. She is not licensed here. She was licensed in Tennessee. She could do absolutely nothing for me other than tell me what I needed to hear. Like, it was truly God speaking through this woman. It was the craziest experience. I remember after my shift, her and I actually went to Roosters together, and she sat and was just telling me, everything that she's experienced in the industry and what to be prepared for, and telling me why I should do it. And I mean, this was the woman that I met 3-4 hours prior to this at this point, you know what I mean? But she has like all this faith in the world from me. So I'm like, okay, well, I genuinely feel like it's God talking to me through this woman. She went back to Tennessee. I didn't stay in contact with her for about 2 years. I just kind of grinded it out. And then after I had hit my 2nd year in real estate, I reached out to her and I was just like, I'm really thankful, for the conversation that we had. I just wanted to let you know I'm licensed in real estate. I'm doing really well. And it was just really nice to like be able to let her know that she was able to change my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's so awesome. I mean, it's all about, for me, it's all about impact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had someone there to kind of push you there and kind of give you that okay,
Yeah.
essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, faith probably played a big part into that at that time. And like for me, I had a mentor, that most people don't have when they got into the business. So for me to be able to impact the lives of, other agents, whereas most agents impact the lives of our clients, buyers and sellers,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's all about. So that's such an awesome story. And if you are a bartender, a waiter, a waitress, real estate is a path for you. I
100%. 100%.
I think we have I think I counted out before. I think we have like 6 or 7 people that came from the restaurant space, bartender, waiter, waitresses just on our team. Because you guys have the people skills, right? You can
Yeah,
read situations, you can read people. Um, Obviously, you got to build the relationship and rapport, right? Because you're working for tips as well.
absolutely.
And instead of now you're just selling a larger product. So
Yeah, I definitely believe that bartending helped prep me because even like not every bar is like that, you know what I mean?
right,
But you go down on campus, you're going to deal with some college kids. That's a little different.
sure,
But I was
sure,
dealing with like people that worked at the Hilton. So there were a lot of times it was traveling business people. So I was getting to engage and learn about the business world while also standing behind the bar and serving these men, you know what I mean? Or these women that are coming in after their late shifts and all of that. So I think that it helped expand my mind too. You don't have to be back behind this bar, but it's cool for now. We're going to
yeah.
make it work for now.
Well, and I think too, it probably solved the problem of something new every day.
It did. Definitely.
You know,
It did. I still was unhappy, but I
sure,
was working towards something. And I think the significance of me getting into real estate, because like I'd mentioned before, is I really did lose my faith around the age of 18. It was just completely stripped of me. And this woman and this conversation in this industry brought my faith back to me.
mm,
So I think that that's why it's so significant to me, is because I mean, your faith is everything, you know what I mean? And I've had times in my life where I didn't hold on to my faith and I didn't excel the way I wanted to. And then I had times where I leaned into my faith and I was excelling at a crazy rate. So I'm just appreciative of that lady, that conversation that we had that evening at the bar, just being able to get back into finding my faith through real estate.
yeah. How were you able to navigate those lows and the highs, right? Like, you know, it's- it,
Real estate is a lot of lows and highs. I think
yeah,
I just got through, like the past month and a half has been probably the most chaotic as far as deals go. And I think my biggest thing is that I try to take my own advice that I give to my clients. If it's not working out, it's because there's something else working better for you, or you're being protected by something that's not really for you. And I keep trying to remind myself that just because
mm,
you lose something or something doesn't work out how you want it to go, it doesn't mean it's not working for you. And I really try to take into consideration that you can only do what you can do. So if it's outside of the realm of what you can do, like you really kind of need to just focus on what you can do and put your hands up and let God do the rest, because he
yeah,
will every time. Even if it's not what you think it's going to be, it always works out in the end.
yeah. It's always like those graphs where it's like path to success and then normal path to success, right? Like
No,
all over the
seriously.
place.
I mean, it's there. You got the loops in there and everything. It's crazy. It's a journey, but I wouldn't trade this path that I've taken for anything. I would take the highs and the lows every day over having to go clock in and out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
So, you meet this lady from Tennessee,
Yes.
um, licensed. She says, "Hey, I think you'd be really good at real estate." You go hang out with her afterwards.
Yep.
Getting in,
So that was
doubters,
a
supporters, like, you know,
I had so like that goes back to how we talked about my parents living conventionally. I don't think they ever doubted what I could do. I think that they believed in me, but I think that they were worried about me living unconventionally and not being able to secure my stability. You know, I just turned 27. I got started when I was 23. I think that they were just worried about me being able to pay my bills, to be honest with you. Like, are you sure this is going to work? And I don't know. I kind of just my first year tried to shut off the outside noise as much as possible, because I knew that I'm the type of person that if I let everybody get to me, it'll bring me down. So I just need to stay focused on myself and what I believe I can do, and I will do it. And after that, it was crazy too, because your support never comes from who you think it's going to come from. When I first started, I tried not to take it personal, but like the people that I thought were going to have my back and reshare my posts and you know, send me all the referrals in the world, it did not come from those people. Yeah. It came from new connections I made. It came from people I talked to 8 years ago. It came from people that I never met in person, but followed my journey on social media. You know what I mean? So I just appreciate anyone that supported me, because this is such a word of mouth business that to know that you were in a room and you mentioned my name in that room, just, it means more to me than anything.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. You know, it's typically, you know, it's not anything bad, right?
No.
I think sometimes it's just, you know, friends take, you know, the friendship for granted, right? And like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like he already knows I support them, right? Or she
Right.
already knows I support them.
Right.
You know, so diving in, I mean, did you hit the ground running? Like, was it instant success? Was there highs, lows, struggles? And then also, did you just jump in full time, or were you kind of navigating bartending and real estate?
So I jumped in part-time at first. I was working with a lender. I don't know if you know Tyler Bossetti.
You know the name.
He was working at, before he left and was doing what he was doing lending. And he was my first lender I ever worked with. And he was awesome. He really helped me create a strong sense of my business at first, and just helping me be a good agent. But I remember he had hit me up and he was like, hey, this was about 6 months in. He was like, hey, let me take you to brunch. And I'm like, okay. So we meet for brunch that Saturday, and I'm sitting there talking to him and, you know, just catching up. And he's like, so it's time to quit your job. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with that decision yet. Everybody in my life had told me, like, it's not time to quit your job. You need that stable income. I was still having my paycheck coming every 2 weeks, plus my tips that I was making. I didn't know if I was truly ready to give that up. And I just remember Tyler telling me, like, trust me, you need to jump now, because you will be super thankful that you did. And he gave me like a week to quit my job. It was like I'm going to reach back out, and you have about a week. So I remember like the next 2 days I sat on it, and then I texted my boss and I was like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and put in my 2 weeks. I think it's like time for me to give this a go and really like invest in myself, and just, you know, I appreciate everything you guys have done for me, but I'm ready to give this a full go.
How did he know, and how did you know? Because I think a lot of people struggle with that, right? Like, I always tell agents, you know, you're never going to be fully 100% comfortable. And I think a lot of that is because we are so ingrained with the security of a job, right?
Yeah.
But the funny thing about all of that is your job's not secure. Your paycheck's
No.
not secure. You could get fired tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, how did you know, like, what was going on in the business, or how did you know that it was the right time to take that step?
At that point, it was, you know, I had a client my first day of being licensed. I closed a deal within the first 30 days. I think I closed 12 deals my first year. After like my fourth one, he was just like, my referrals were crazy. I think I had sent him like 150 referrals in like a 3 or 4 month period. Like, it was crazy. And he was just like, imagine if you had the time to truly focus on all of these, like you should be, what would happen? So, I mean, after I quit my job, my business doubled in 2 months. It was the craziest. I was so appreciative that I had one person in my life telling me it's time to let go. Like, let's just go all in and see what happens, because it changed my life.
Yeah. And I think I always find that during these conversations with agents, there's always usually something from either childhood or another career or through the college years or whatever that always transitions to the real estate business for them. And I
Mhm.
think it started when you said, you always knew it by 5 years old that you just needed to be your own boss. And I think
Yeah,
that then led into, and correct me if I'm wrong, but just from the conversation so far, I think that then led into more of that leadership type person and more of the work ethic
mhm,
that it would take to be your own boss. And then
absolutely.
you transition that into the real estate career. I always tell people, like, if you truly trust and believe in yourself, in your work ethic, then you're going to be fine.
100%. I agree, like 100%. There's been so many days where I'm like, I'll come home and I'll just lay on my couch and stare at my ceiling like, did this happen? Like, did that deal really happen like that? And I'm like, you know what? Oh, well, whatever that appraiser said, whatever that lender did, oh, well, I believe in myself and I believe in my business. And I know that I'm going to take care of my clients to the best of my ability. That's all I can do. And we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
So I think that having that confidence in yourself is really important, because if I didn't have it, I seriously don't know how I would have gotten through some of those days.
Well, especially as a individual agent, right? It's also equally important to have your circle around you,
Hmm.
and find those people. I always tell people, I believe everyone needs to be a coach, or sorry, I believe everyone needs to have a coach. It could be mentor, coach, whichever you
I
want. I
agree.
believe everyone needs to have a coach. I believe everyone needs to have a peer, right? Someone that's going along the same path as you, the same journey as far as where you're at in your business. And I think we can all coach someone get to where you're currently at.
Yeah.
But having that circle of people, like a Tyler for you, right? Like
Mhm.
that pushed you out of your comfort zone, that believed you that you could do more as a solo agent. I think it's even more important to have that.
100%. I think about all the time how much farther I am now because I had that one person that pushed me,
Hmm.
versus had I just waited till I believed in myself enough or till I was ready, because we're never ready.
Right.
Um, my business would not be where it's at right now. So just I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah. So let's dive into to your career. First year you did about 12 transactions, you said.
Yeah.
Um, what year did you end up getting licensed?
2018.
2018. Okay. So then kind of lead me up to current day. Kind of what has been business been like? What have you kind of focused on?
So my first 2 years, I would say I had a couple listings here and there. I was a newer agent and I was always like, how do everybody get all of these listings? Like, where do they come from? I was so frustrated. I felt like I could pull buyers out of my pocket like nobody's business. Like, for some reason, buyers just came to me like a magnet. And it's not that I don't like buyers, but I'll tell you, last spring, I had 23 pre approved buyers. It was the hardest market that everyone says, I haven't experienced '08 or anything like that, but it was crazy. And it took a toll on my mental health, which is
Mhm.
one thing that I don't think we talk about enough in our industry is mental health. I feel like it's completely okay to say that you struggle or you have anxiety or today was a really hard day. But working with 23 buyers in last spring's market, my mental health was awful. I remember calling my broker one night and I was in tears. I was like, I am so stressed out. I don't know how to do this. I think I had shown like 30 some houses in one day. I had wrote multiple offers. I had, while writing these offers coming in being declined because not every buyer is in a great position and you're working with people that are just living on a dream at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, something's got to give. Like, I can't go on like this. I love this industry, but going on like this, it will make me hate it.
Yeah.
And she got me in with a coach, which super thankful for my coach. I've had two coaches since then. They've both done great things for me. And I just told them I need to be more listing focused. Like, I have to figure out a way to get my time back because
Yeah.
last year, this time I had no time for myself at all. Like, there was no family time. There was no vacations. There was none of that. I had so many buyers. I didn't know what to do with it. So getting with my coach and spending this past year, I see myself being more listing focused. And I know for a fact I've taken on more listings this year than I have buyers, which is fantastic. And I'm not discouraging buyers, to come see me, because I'm a great buyer's agent and you should come work with me. But having listings changed the game for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, and we can go, the mental health thing, you're exactly right. It's the anxiety, the pressure to feel like we have to respond to everyone in real time,
Yeah.
juggling, family,
Mhm.
it's something that I've always struggled with. I've always put business first, unfortunately.
Yep.
And I would just write it off as, well, you guys don't pay my mortgage, right? You guys don't pay my bills, and this is, but setting those boundaries as I've gotten older and I'm getting better. It's still, my wife will tell you, it's still a work in progress,
Yeah, I think it will always be.
but it's hard, to do that, to turn it on, turn it off, and
It
then
was
to just
hard.
let go. Like the let
Mhm.
go part's, I think, the hardest part.
Yeah. Trusting that there's something back there to catch you when you let go is scary, because sometimes there's not going to be anything. You're going to fall and you're going to learn from it.
Yeah.
But I just am appreciative that I had to go through that struggle of losing my mind a little bit, because it showed me how to take back control of my business. Because I just feel like it would be doing a disjustice to everyone that's a new agent to act like it's been sunshine and rainbows this entire journey. You know what I mean? It hasn't. It has not been.
It's never what's on Instagram or Facebook.
Never. It has been the hardest thing I've ever done, but it has been the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
100%. I always tell people, real estate's provided me so much in a certain lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be anything like big and crazy lifestyle. It just provided me a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, spot on. I mean, it's one of those things where no one ever really sees the grind, the behind the scenes,
Yeah.
the late nights, the early mornings, the therapy sessions with our clients, the drama with our clients and other
Yeah.
co-op agents, right?
Yeah. I do not see that. No.
So you're focusing, you're driving around like crazy. I always find that people usually get into the business for the one of three things. They want more money, more income. They want more freedom,
Mm-hmm.
or they want more flexibility, within their day. And I think freedom and flexibility are two separate things. They want flexibility within their day, right? Like, I got to be able to drop the kids off from, at school. I got to be able to pick them up. I got to take them to sport, the flexibility. So, and a lot of times people, they get one, but they don't get all three,
Yeah.
or they get two and they forget about the other.
Yeah.
And I think you can have all three. And I think it goes to kind of what your little pivot is, as far as, maybe instead of handling all just buyers, being a little bit more strategic, focusing a little bit more on the listing side of the business, to where, time investment isn't as high, but you're still getting the same, the results that you want and the lifestyle that you want.
Absolutely. That's, I think, one of the biggest reasons. I mean, other than I feel like I'm walking my purpose, but the lifestyle that comes with this industry. I mean, I don't have to schedule time off work. I mean, something as simple as that. I love to travel. I want to see everything that the world has to offer. Obviously, I know that's going to take some time, but I don't want to have to call in, hey, can I have this day off, for you to tell me no? Because I don't like that. That doesn't resonate well with me. I want to go on this vacation.
Yeah.
So I agree. This lifestyle has been huge. Just being able to wake up every day and say, okay, today I know I have to get these calls out of the way, and I have to show this house, and I have to do this, meet with this client. But outside of that, I can do whatever I want. That's great.
Yeah. And you can sleep in one day or get up early.
Yeah, it's totally up to you. It's truly your decision.
So Brittany, I want to kind of go towards future, right? You're making this transition into the business, this pivot to the business, to kind of um, a little bit more listing side focused,
Yeah.
than what you were. What's one thing that you're looking to accomplish in the next 12 months?
And I have a list of accomplishments inside and outside of real estate. But one of the big things that I'm working on right now is I want to have my own team. I want to get the systems in place to have my own team of buyer's agents working under me so that I can be a super strong listing agent and kind of delegate and be able to hit the road even more so I can do some more traveling.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. I was curious on if you were going the team route or not,
Yeah.
with your change in focus. And it's funny, I've been talking to a lot of agents who are to that stage of building the team,
Mhm.
and I just share, I try to only talk on things that that I've experienced or been a part of.
Mhm.
And with our team and growing it over the last 10 years, I just had this conversation the other day, and I had it with my coach too. A lot of people will tell agents who are building teams, go get a TC, go get an admin to take care of all of the paperwork things.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the right first hire anymore.
Yeah.
I think, I was talking to Wyatt Petty the other day,
Wyatt.
and
Yeah.
I was like, what's the one thing that you spend the most time on? And he said paperwork, right? Because that's like the default answer that we all know.
Right.
Um, I was like, no, it's not anymore.
It's not.
Paperwork, not. It's buyers.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
being in the car. And I think that first hire, just something to throw your way. I think that first hire could be a showing agent.
And
Doesn't
I
even have to
think
be a
that's
full
kind
time
of,
buyer's agent. It could be a showing agent. Now,
yeah.
if you have a buyer's agent, cool, right? But I don't, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
And then that still allows you to do all the negotiations. But it doesn't mean you're going to be in the car from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Um, and frees up a lot of time. I don't
I can
know.
tell
I just threw
you,
that out. I just threw that out to you. So I'm curious of your thoughts because this is the first time I've really publicly put it out there. I've had,
admitted that. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah. I
I
mean,
actually, I agree. I think that there's no one way to anything. I
yeah,
think that what works for me might not work for you, and it might not work for the next person. It just depends on how you choose to do your business. I think for me, I don't struggle with paperwork. Like you said, it's not the hardest thing to me, to be honest. It's actually the easiest. The hardest thing for me is spending all day, every day in my car, working with 6 to 7 buyers a day and just making sure that I have enough time to give them the agent that they deserve, because at the end of the day, there's only one of me. So
yeah,
it makes sense to, in a sense, create another one of me and
yeah.
have them go out and be able to help and give buyers the experience that they deserve, not because I'm rushing around trying to make it all happen for one person.
Well, and I was talking, and I just mentioned Wyatt's name, but there's been other agents I've spoke to about this. And at the end of the day, when I got into the business in 2011, we were still scanning and faxing, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
paperwork back then was way more time
It was
investment.
tedious.
Yeah, more tedious. Right now, I wrote 2 offers over the weekend. I think I had them done in 30 minutes.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
from there, once you're in contract, if you actually break down the time allocation to those things,
Yeah.
are we talking what, 2.5, 3 hours per deal, maybe, of
Maybe.
actual paperwork time?
Yeah.
So, I just, like I said, throwing that out there because I'd just be curious of your thoughts around that. And
Yeah.
what
No,
it
I
allows you
agree.
to do is now, you can handle all the negotiations. You're building a team, you're creating leverage. And that showing agent is, typically someone that loves meeting people, being out and about, and thriving into that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great idea. I don't feel like I have a transaction coordinator, but I don't feel like I need her, even though she's great. I just think that it's the easiest part of the business is the paperwork. It's the
Now,
people's the hardest, to be
okay.
honest with you.
Well, let me rephrase that, right? If you're working with 5 buyers at a time, this may allow to get you to 8 to 10, right? By
Yeah,
going this route. Now, your workload just doubled as far as paperwork goes. So
right.
the TC is a hire that's really close behind it if you're a high performing agent, right? Like
Absolutely. I mean,
it's
I
not
think it's
like
essential.
it's not like, you're just going to go out and do 8 transactions every single month, or 10 transactions, and you're never going to hire that TC person.
Right.
I'm just saying we're switching kind of how that
What
happens.
step? Yeah, it's definitely not the first step for me
Yeah.
anymore, I don't think.
Yeah. So Brittany, 5 years. What's a big goal for 5 years?
5 years. So I'm licensed in Ohio and South Carolina.
Oh, cool.
I would love to see myself having upwards of 50 some rental properties between both states, Airbnbs. I want to see myself having systems in place to have my Conner Estates team, which is like my rehabs and rentals, being taken care of fully, with me being stepping away from that. I would like to see my real estate team for like being a realtor, having the systems in place that I can step away significantly. I really, like I said, I want to travel. I want to be able to go on like 2-3 month excursions, and know that I have the systems in place, that my business is getting ran at home and everything's fine, and I'm only getting a call if it's absolutely necessary. I want to be able to spend time with my family and my friends and enjoy life, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to just live to work. I want to live to experience life.
We have a lot of that mindset in common.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I got lucky because that's how my mentor, my team lead, lives his life, right? Like I got in at 22 right out of college, and it was, we're going to have fun, we're going to enjoy life, we're going to do things, but life comes first, work comes second, but we work hard, right?
Yeah,
To play hard, or in
absolutely.
some case harder, we play harder, right? So what's one thing that you think, I guess you listed some big goals, so it's not just one thing, but what do you think you need to do in order to kind of get those things in place?
I think I got to stay consistent. I think one of the big things that has really helped me increase my business has been the power of video. So I need to stay consistent with my videos. I need to stay consistent with putting myself in front of people and educating them. I think that as long as I stay consistent, I know my hunger isn't going anywhere, and I know my faith isn't going anywhere. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when for me. So I'm just going to continue to do the things that I know are going to produce me the business that I want, so that I can lead the life I want to live.
No, that's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. I got one last final question for you,
Okay.
and you can answer this any way that you want. But if you were to give our audience, one piece of advice that either you wish you had, or that you think is important, to either a brand new agent or to someone that's maybe on the same journey as you, right?
Yeah.
They're going through that high performing grind, the mental side of it. What would that one piece of advice be, or maybe
I
that's a couple pieces of advice?
Okay, a couple pieces. High risk, high reward. If you don't take a risk, you will not get the rewards that you want to see. I've definitely learned that you got to risk it. Typically, everything that you want in life is on the decision you're scared to make. So making the hard decisions is important. And also just realizing that with this industry, it's not an overnight thing. Everything that you do, you don't like what I'm doing right now. I know I will not see my results for 3 to 6 months. I know that, but it took me having months of not seeing any results and getting mad at myself to realize that, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just setting myself up for 3 to 6 months from now. I think a lot of people expect to get in and see these overnight results, and that's just not the case. So if you're not seeing the results you want right now, it's because 3 to 6 months ago, you probably weren't putting in the work that you should have been. But now you can put in the work you want to, see the results for. In 3 to 6 months, you're going to have a better outcome. I think just understanding that it is not an overnight thing at all.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things, is the delayed gratification,
Yeah.
and agents needing to trust the process,
Yeah.
right? Like, do you have a coach that has mapped out the game plan, or a mentor that has mapped out the game plan for you? And then the question is do I truly trust this process?
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but for me, like, I don't sell as much anymore, but
Mhm.
I grew up cutting my teeth on leads, and
Yeah.
buyer leads, I knew if I started today, I could jump right back in, and I trust the process so much
Yeah.
that I know the results would come.
Yeah.
And I
I
think a lot
agree.
of agents struggle with that piece of it.
100%. You just got to trust the process. You got to trust in yourself too. And just know that if you're putting in the work, the results will come. They just might not come when you want them.
Yeah. 100%. Brittany, thank you so much for coming on. Those that have been watching, you can connect with Brittany via phone, call, text. Her Instagram is on there as well. So please go give her a follow. If you're a real estate agent, you connected with her story, please reach out to her. I'm sure she is more than willing to chat with you
I
about the
absolutely
business.
am.
And if you are someone that's buying or selling here in Central Ohio, or in South Carolina, maybe we'll get someone from South Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. South
Uh,
Carolina, hit me up.
yeah, make sure you reach out to her and give her some business. But Brittany, for those that are listening in, what's the best way for them to connect?
Call me, text me any time of the day. I will answer. If I don't, I'll get back to you pretty quickly.
Awesome, Brittany. Thank you so much. If I can ever do anything for you, please let me know. But thanks for coming on and sharing your story.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, talk to you soon.
Bye.